welcome to Geekology. I'm your host David Zabulia, and with me is
s1e03.
And today we're going to be doing an unboxing of the Star Trek Starship Legends Enterprise, the 1701.
Which is of course the Refit one. And this particular one ties in with Star Trek II Wrath of Khan, you know, the first sequel to the first film.
I mean the
proper version of Khan.
This is part of Diamond's new release of pretty much all the shit they did the Enterprise D. And for those of you who don't know, a few years ago Diamond released what was at the time the best Star Trek ships they'd ever released, because in the large model toy range all we'd had were Planet toys. So when the Diamond came out, they were really very impressive. The build quality was better, the paint job was better, the sound was better, the packaging was better. The whole range was just miles above what we'd had previously. Well, basically, they've relaunched the whole set. They've done some minor packaging tweaks, and we've been told they've done some tweaks to the actual toys. This is the first unboxing. We have here the Enterprise A, which, yes, okay, it has the A, but it's the same Diamond mould. At the time, again, as I said, this was an amazing toy. So we just want to compare the two differences and basically see what we can come up with. We are now going to cut to a quick photo montage of the box art, because as I said, there is a box art difference between the original Diamond release and this new one. And Sven told me an interesting thing about the base of this box.
It's quite an interesting part is the fact that it's actually got a British address on it, which means that they're doing a special run for us in the UK, which has got to be the first time they've done that with anything Star Trek for a very, very long time. So that's quite. In fact, I think that probably goes back to the Matchbox reconfigurable Enterprise from Star Trek: The Motion Picture, because it was sold by South Bend in the States, and we got a Matchbox branded, which was quite cool.
Now, for you American fans, that might not sound particularly amazing to you guys, but you've got to bear in mind that a lot of the UK editions for the toys, basically we get the American one with a sticker over the base. So the fact that Diamond actually went to the trouble of reprinting out a box, it's a nice thing. It's a nice touch to the English fans. I mean, granted, it's probably just to cover themselves legally with something, but the fact that they've actually paid that much attention, it's just a nice thing.
And the fact that, you know, they obviously thought they were going to get enough sales to make it worthwhile.
Right, so how's if I open it the right way around? Okay, so oh yes, the joy of undoing cable ties.
Hey, at least it's not a Hasbro product, you could be here all day.
Oh, tell me about it. I opened a toy last week and it had 23 cable ties. There was more cable ties than cardboard.
Having said that, Hasbro actually switched over to using paper ties now. Wound paper ties, so at least it's a little bit more ecologically friendly.
Okay, so first thing to note is the yellow square boxing for the toy. A lot of people would think that that's just generic art. It isn't. It is meant to be a graphic representation of the Starbase Constructor frame. Why this became a standard, I don't know, but in a lot of the comics they've used it, and on the Comic Con Special Edition Refit Enterprise, I can't remember which company produced that. Hot Wheels, Matchbox?
It was a Hot Wheels one.
Yeah, the Hot Wheels one. It opens out, and again, it uses the yellow frame.
But to be fair, Matchbox is owned by Nacelles, and therefore Hot Wheels is the same thing. You get Matchbox and Hot Wheels branded version of the same figure, of the same cars now.
Do you like to do the very exciting instruction book?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, it's basically, this is how you put the batteries in, this is how you press a button, this is how you put it together. Well, I think we'll that out.
Well, you know, if you compare that to some of the European editions for the Playmate toys, do you remember the one for the bridge set? It folded out like this, it was ridiculous. Mind you, we did have to have a listing for where to put the stickers.
We'll bring this forward so we can put them.
Yeah, I tell you, why don't you talk about that one whilst I'm there?
Well, this was the first release that Diamond put out. It is worth noting that obviously Diamond don't do the design work themselves or the modelling work for these. It's actually done by a company called Art Asylum, who have been doing Star Trek action figures, amazing work for quite a while now. Their action figures are way ahead of anything Playmates ever did. And it's kind of a shame that they don't have the license for the new films.
I would say my only criticism of their action figures is that an awful lot of them, almost all of them, use that new silicone rubber in the outfits, which means sadly those figures are going to decay, especially if you open them out the pack. Well, even if you leave them in the pack, they're still going to decay. But still, so much nicer to look at.
Absolutely. But yes, there was actually one in between these two releases, which was it was 1701 Refit, which was Wrath of Khan branded, but it was actually the battle damaged version of the ship. So it had the phaser burned down the one side and so on and so forth.
But sadly, the thing about that one was they didn't remodel it, they just put stickers on it to make it look battle damaged. I was actually really disappointed with that one. So because of the quality of the toys up to that date, we genuinely expected actual battle damage. Yes, bit sad. Right, so anyway.
But this one, at the time, it seemed absolutely gorgeous. It was far ahead of the Playmates ones that preceded it. It actually has 7 sound effects inside, which are...
oh yes, they're always fun, aren't they?
Photon torpedoes. Impulse pass. Going to warp. You might notice that the engines are lighting up for that. Warp past. Photon torpedoes. Beaming up. Phasers. Photon torpedoes again. And there we go. So yes. Considering everything that had gone before, that was everybody was absolutely loving it. Colouring seemed a little off in grey, but there is they did take the opportunity to sort of like texture the hull, so you have got a sort of like difference in the coloration, and you look at it, but it's actually a flat grey. It's just a different way the light bounces off. But it's grey, which is wrong. It should be white or pearlescence and mixtures of white and maybe very, very light grey, but at the time nobody cared. Because the detailing on it was gorgeous and it was just, it was the best thing we'd seen so far.
Okay.
And now we've got this one.
Oh yes, and straight off there are some major differences between the two. If I can just have a quick gander. Okay, so the modelling is the same, but to tell you the truth, I wasn't really expecting a change in that. I tell you, you haven't noticed that, and I'll tell you what I spotted straight off. Firstly, you can, if you lift it up to the light, you can see almost through the saucer section, which obviously that one couldn't. Now that seems like a slightly strange thing to people going, well, why is that impressive? The reason why that would be interesting is if you're lighting it in a cabinet, it would mean that as long as you didn't have too strong a light source, you're going to have a nice light reflection from it, which it's good for display purposes. The plastic is pearlescent, which is nice. They didn't go with a dodgy paint job. And have you noticed round the airlock on the sides yet? Look in the saucer section.
Oh my god.
Yeah, isn't that amazing that you've actually gone to that much detail?
That's almost unreadable.
Yeah.
But brilliant. They've actually put Starship USS Enterprise, United Federation of Planets, on the edge of the source where it should be, even though it's almost invisible to the naked eye.
And they've actually painted the airlock doors.
Yeah.
We'll mix in some photos of the things that we are going to be drooling over about the paint jobs. Also, now it depended. The Wrath of Khan version, this back stanchion piece for the nacelles, this one's clipped in, but for the other version it just clips straight out, on and off, because they did the nacelles as a set thing. With this, they've actually moulded it in, so you just put the nacelles on the stanchion bars, which is good. The paint job is just phenomenal.
Yeah,
They've
picked out the grid lines, haven't they, as well?
Yeah, they've actually, you see, this is it, they didn't paint the grid lines on. But not only that, have you noticed that they've used two-tone colouring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
Yeah. They've
picked out the phaser ports. They did it on this one, but...
Yeah, but they did it in a really dodgy yellow,
Yeah,
where in there, it's red with silver dots.
Yeah.
Which is just beautiful.
Nice.
I have to say, I'm disliking the fact that they've used black on main deflector dish. Main deflector dish is black.
Wait till you turn it on.
Oh.
There's your problem with your pearlescent.
Yeah, there's a problem with the pearlescent. When you do it, it lights up through. Also, yeah, same problem with that one as well. See, what they tried to do with the nacelles, is that when you light them up, it has a primary light source here, and then they put several parts in to catch the light as it went through it, to make it look like they were the warp coils. However, the warp coils in the 1701 version of the Enterprise over, say, that of the Next Generation one, was obviously, with the Next Gen you had the open curve and they were in 4 pieces that clip down. And they've tried to mimic that, but the trouble is this Enterprise didn't use that, so that effect is
at least they've maintained the correct colouring though, so you've got
the colouring
dark grey on the outside and the blue only lights up on the inside, which is often an error. In fact, even in Star Trek V they got that wrong when they were making the film. They actually lit up blue on the outside.
Yeah. Oh, they came up with some dogma for
one thing you might want to do though is...
should we switch it over so we can actually hear the other sounds?
Yes, let's put it into...
Okay.
Take it out of try-me mode. Because it comes in try-me mode, so you only get the Khan sound effect in the box, which is to stop people standing there in the shop for like an hour, going through all of the different
I
sound
can't
effects.
think of anybody who would do that, Sven.
Don't look at me, I've seen you do it too.
I do not know what you mean. Okay, so we've flipped the little switch.
Yep.
And let's go through some of these sound effects. Would you like to do the honours?
That's it coming out to the space station.
That is a nice length for recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so apparently now Khan is on the Enterprise.
Enterprise, not the Reliance.
It's to fire. No,
Oh,
let's see
well,
what else
still,
we've got.
still
in.
from the,
It's
the
from
film.
the film. It's from the film.
A hand phaser.
Yes, you're listening to somebody on the ship.
Oh, someone on the ship using a hand phaser.
Oh. Tell you what, don't get me wrong, the new guy is good, but Ricardo Montalban knew how to do it.
Faces on target and with my command. Time is a luxury you don't have.
Oh.
He had such a lovely voice.
Good Spock.
It's a bit deep. We're going to make Kirk sound deep.
Yes.
Oh, they used the pretty transporter sound.
Yeah.
No grown man.
Pretty Transformer sound. What did
Please, future Sven, edit that out. Edit that out.
I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
Oh,
Nice.
Kobe action
Yes.
reference.
I've heard that once already.
Fire.
Nice.
From hell's heart. I
Oh, that's cool.
That is really nice. That is really nice.
I want to lose.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, that's nice. Okay, now.
Any more?
Oh,
just
you know what?
cycled
You know
round.
what? I didn't Google it.
Static.
You would have thought I would Google to find out how many sound effects
Let's come back to the space station, so I think that's all of them.
There will be a little bit of text that future Sven will add in that says how many sound effects this actually has, and you know he's probably going to be all geeky and do a list of them for you as well. So look at the bottom of your screen, and there it is. Okay. As always, which again I thought was a nice feature, they give you a spare battery covered door, so if you're going to hang your model,
You don't have the dimple for the stand.
Right, now the stands. The first time I saw these stands, I was absolutely stunned. I thought they were amazing, I loved them. I thought the shaping was, because the ones that Playmate gave you were huge, chunky, horrible sound.
Yeah,
Not good for display.
Yeah, because you couldn't close them or anything, they were just stuck.
Now, the good thing is about the ball arrangement that they use for these is that once you've tweaked it, you have to tweak it several times, because when the weight of the ship is on the stand, the plastic bows a bit. Which means that you can do this with your ship and it will just wobble for ages.
Yeah.
The downside to this design, I have found, due to the fact of not always going out with geek women, and they knock the damn things and they fall to the ground, or if, because there is a weight difference between these two as well, I don't know if you noticed, some of the ships are quite heavy. Over time it becomes very loose, especially if you play, depends how much you play with your toys. So that is one of the downsides. They will break and they do wear over time. However, for what it is, which I hate to say this because you know it always makes me cry, it's a toy.
Yeah.
It's not only meant for us, it is meant for the younger audiences. So, you know, it's one of those things of balancing between the two.
I'll tell you something though, it was when the first time this stand was ever used was on the NX-01 ship, the very first release, when Art Asylum had just got the license for Enterprise and Playmate still had the license for everything else, and everybody was looking at the stand going, it's never going to hold up, it's never going to keep it.
It helped till you dropped it. It helped.
Yeah.
You know what? We will cut here for 2 seconds. Since Finn mentioned it, I thought I would bring up some of its predecessors. This is obviously the original Enterprise. What they did for the stand version on this is exactly the same stand as this, except because the body of the ship was so thin and the battery housing was so thin, they didn't have room for the ball to go up in and keep it central. So what they very cleverly did was build a little block for it to clip into, which was nice.
And then this is the first of our Art Asylum ships, which was the NX-01, which there the ball goes in, and this was the one where everybody was going, that's never going to stay up. But whereas these have got the the Starfleet Delta symbol, this has got the Enterprise badge, which they obviously designed to match up with NASA's
Shall I
stuff.
tell you what's really sad about this stand? And I don't know if you remember it, because obviously it was a number of years ago. Okay, ball and socket, yes, but they actually did it so that if you wanted just to use the logo, you could use the logo. And I thought that was great. Now, you do of course realise what isn't a toy, because you know I've been going, it's a toy, it's a toy. How about the other refit that's about to come on the market?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you like to show the boys and girls at home this one?
Here we are. Now, some of you have probably gone and grabbed, some of you in the UK have gone and grabbed this, which is the Enterprise D from Eagle Moss. It's in the Star Trek, the official Starships collection, which you all picked up. Well,
We'll be very quickly showing you some close-up photos of this.
that's the next one.
So
Now you're wondering how on earth we have this already, aren't you? The truth is they actually did test launches on this last year. It was only in the south of England, but some of us managed to get them anyway at other places, and we subscribed back then because we were so impressed with what we found. And then it got stopped just after they did the Romulan Warbird, because they were having various issues. They had further issues since then and had to find a new manufacturer for the models, but it's now just come back out, so those who haven't seen it, go and grab the 1701D from your local newsagents. Hopefully they'll have it right now, and the Enterprise Refit comes out in 2 weeks' time. So yes, it's quite cool.
we will be reviewing these. We'll wait until about issue 3
Or 4 maybe.
or 4, and we'll do a dedicated one to it. Not only because of the models, and we'll scan through the magazines and tell you how accurate they are, because you know, some of you may have read Star Trek Fact Files and giggled your way through them, and some of you may be very aware of things like Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise and all those other wonderful books that come out with actual data and facts and things like that in it. But that will be round about the time that if you're going to subscribe to the magazine, you would need to do it by then. So I think that'd be the best point to do that.
Absolutely.
Also, for unboxings, the next unboxing will be Star Trek Into Darkness Steelbook Blu-ray Special Edition, all singing, all dancing. It will either be the Heroes or the Villains Internet exclusive versions, because they won't be available in the shops, so we'd like the viewers at home to actually get to see what they're spending their money on.
Though, to be brutally honest, we still don't know if HMV have got anything special, because they still haven't got a functional website. So it'll be interesting to see what they've got actually in store on the 2nd of September.
2nd of September is the release for.
Now I'm getting the standard 2D steelbook, which is from Amazon.co.uk, so we can compare the two different steelbooks as well.
Yep. So far, and keyword is so far, I've been able to find 8 different versions of the steelbook on Blu-ray available. We need to look into it and find out exactly how many are actually going to be, because every country seems to be getting its own exclusive for the steelbook on the artwork, but presumably it's going to be the same disc system. So
what you'll probably find as well is that some of the artwork that's being released might be the stuff on the back or on the inside. So I've got a feeling there's actually only going to be maybe 4 variations, and then they'll be in different types of packaging in different ways. So it'll be interesting to see quite how that plays out. One thing I will do before we close up completely is we'll have a little close look at the Enterprise D from the new part works, because I'm guessing a lot of people are going to be putting it on the base wrong, because some of the photos that have been released of it have got it completely wrong. So we'll show you how to put that on base properly so you don't damage it.
Okay, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will have another video up for you soon. Good
Take
night.
care. Bye. Still doing calm. Do you want to press it again for you? There we go. Oh! Oh, look on your face just from that. Shame that wasn't on camera. Oh, it was!
No, you can't. The door's there.